Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Tech Coach from the TeacherCast Educational Broadcasting Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for listening to us today. This is Ask the Tech Coach, the podcast that allows you to ask your questions to real-life technology integration specialists. Today on our program, we have Rob Pennington. Rob, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you, Jeff?
I am doing great, and today's question comes from a middle school teacher in Pennsylvania. She asks, what are some creative things that you can do with Google Slides? And I'm glad she asked this question, because a lot of times, Rob, when we talk about Google Slides, we use the term, it's like PowerPoint, but, right? It's, of all the Google things, it's the presentation tool. But, we're here today to argue that it's more than presentations. You can do some pretty cool things with it. Rob, you're a fan of Google Slides, aren't you?
I am a fan of Google Slides. I think one of the big hooks for me with Google Slides has the ability to collaborate. I've seen a whole class put together a picture slideshow. Each one put it, at the beginning of the school year, each student put in a picture of themselves, and a little paragraph about them. And right from there, you have a classroom digital storyboard that tells who's in the class. You throw that onto your website for parents to see, and they can see everyone that's in the classroom, and that students collaborating together for 21st century learning.
There's so many things that you can do with Google Slides other than just use words and bullet points. I was in an elementary class the other day, and I asked them the question. I said, do you guys know the difference between a slide that has words and pictures and a slide that has pictures and words? And they all said, yeah, I know the difference. I said, do you know the difference between a good PowerPoint slide and a bad PowerPoint slide? Yeah. Then we put our heads together and we talked a little bit about not calling it Google Slides, but maybe we call it Google Frames. And they all said, what do you mean? I said, well, let's take a look at some of these examples here. And we built an actual animated movie using Google Slides. And I have some examples over on TeacherCast on the it was a movie that we did of how we had some dinosaurs walking across this deserted or this jungle island, and then we had Star Wars characters coming in. And so now you get the idea that these aren't slides, but these actually are movie frames that you can take. And when you go up in Google Slides and hit publish, you can either embed the image or the slide, movie, or you can take the link and you can then actually have it as a full-blown animated event that automatically turns and moves as you need. Rob, have you ever seen anything like this done before?
The first time I saw it done was by you, Jeff.
There's a lot of things that are involved in this, but by sitting down with kids and really getting them to look at their imaginations. I was recently on EdChat Interactive, and we did an entire hour around digital narratives and getting kids just to look at, content and stories and come up with characters and things. And we showed off this idea using two apps, actually. We did it in movie form using Google Slides, and then we did it in still form using a great app called Storyboard That. But really to take Google Slides, turn it on its side, and give kids the ability not only to create, but do some amazing things with their imaginations was really, really cool. And so, yeah.
I was going to say, and you can change the timing so that it can go faster or slower when you go to that point, and you can have different things move in different directions, and it really can build on this whole story.
Absolutely. And that whole publishing feature is so neat. And I like to ask kids about that. I said, look, if I wanted to make this slide move, what do I do? And they say, oh, you hit the present button. Then I show them the publishing. And with the publishing, you can have the frames change every 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and on up. And 1 second per frame, that's actually really, really good. Then the kids say, well, how do I put, music to it? How do I put sound to it? How do I do all these different things? And, if you take that Google Slides presentation and you export it into images, into PNGs, you can then take that and push those into a video editing system like Final Cut or iMovie or Movie Maker or WeVideo. And then from there, you can speed it up if you want. You can add sound to it. You can put a voiceover to it. You can do anything that you want. So, doing dinosaurs in Star Wars is great, but why not do something where you're doing, parts of our room and you're taking random pictures and showing off where the bathroom sign out is, where the emergency exits are, where do we put our jacket in the morning. There's a lot of different things that we can do that don't necessarily have to be action movie oriented. I told a girl the other day, why don't you take a map of the school and animate arrows or animate little people leaving their room so that way each classroom knows how to get out during a fire drill. And she just looked at me like, wow, that's a great idea. And so I told her, give me a couple of days and then send me what you got. So I'm interested in seeing what these kids come up with. I've already had an example come in from second grade, which was like an ocean water landscape, and a turtle comes up and a baby turtle comes up, and they all kind of move over together. It was very, very elementary, but it was elementary school.
No, and I've seen a lot of teachers do this with PowerPoint, where they have different things move at different timing, and it all goes by itself, and it's to music. And I've heard teachers say that you can't do this in Google Slides, but in actuality, you can do it. And it's just a little bit different.
And so my suggestion to anybody out there is try this. We have some great resources over on teachercast.net that teach you not only about slides and, the buttons and things like that, but really how to use your imagination through using Google Slides. This and all other Ask the Tech Coach shows are going to be up on askthetechcoach.com. And of course, we're going to be monitoring our hashtag Ask the Tech Coach. If you have a question for us, you can, of course, email us at feedback@teachercast.net. Or if you want to leave a voice message, we'd love to have you on the show. You can leave a voice message over at teachercast.net/voicemail. We are now part of the iTunes family, and you can find us not only on teachercast.net/iTunes, which is all of our TeacherCast shows, but of course, we are individually featured as an Ask the Tech Coach show. Feel free to subscribe to any, all, or both. And while you're over there, please leave a great rating for us and a nice review of everything. Rob, where can we find out more about the great stuff that you're doing today?
You can find out more on Twitter at RobPennington9. You can go to robpennington.weebly.com, and there's tons of different ideas that I have on that site as well.
That is so great, Rob. And don't forget out there, if you have a question, all you have to do is Ask the Tech Coach. My name is Jeff Bradbury. On behalf of everybody here on the TeacherCast Educational Broadcasting Network, keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions with your students.